Chapter 131. The Tainted Black Blood. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them, collectively petrified, and all of them had dazed expressions. No one thought that Nye Tian's strength was strong to such an extent. He confronted Shang Mingyu head-on and didn't lose out in the slightest. After the extreme sparring, Nye Tian and Shang Mingyu were each injured and stood up almost simultaneously, but their expressions were very different. Shang Mingyu stood up and looked at Nye Tian, even more furious, almost mad. He could not eat his opponent alive. On the contrary, Nye Tian had an unperturbed expression and even had a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. Nye Tian was only smiling bitterly at this point. Shang Mingyu is worthy of being a swordsman with a sword heart, and even with a set of sword techniques that are grim to the attributes of his genitals, he is still powerful. Fortunately, Shang Mingyu's Quicksilver Sword and the Golden Sun Sword skill are mutually exclusive, otherwise, Nye Tian would be defeated miserably at this moment. The Golden Sun Sword skill was only a yellow-ranked high-ranked sword skill, and it was so close to the attributes of Shang Mingyu's Quicksilver Sword that it didn't help Shang Mingyu's combat power in any way. Shang Mingyu was purely using his sword chi and sword heart to fight against Nye Tian. Nye Tian was a person who possessed two terrifying swords chi, and the Ao Jian skill was also a super heavenly sword skill, but in such a situation, he was only an even match with Shang Mingyu. This shows the terror of the sword heart. With the sword heart and without the sword heart of the swordsman is a complete difference in quality. If Nye Tian had developed a sword heart at this time, he could have easily killed Shang Mingyu. Shang Mingyu, your sword spirit attribute and the Golden Sun Sword skill are mutually exclusive. I advise you not to cultivate the Golden Sun Sword skill anymore. If you forcefully cultivate it, not only will it not help your strength, it might even harm your sword spirit. Nye Tian looked at Shang Mingyu and said indifferently. He just saw that Shang Mingyu's sword Dao qualifications were not bad, and being able to harbor a sword heart before the age of 20 could already be considered a sword Dao genius. But now Shang Mingyu's sword chi, sword heart, and sword spirit Quicksilver Sword attributes are mutually exclusive, sword heart and sword spirit. He must abandon one. Either practice another sword skill and slowly change the attributes of the sword chi and sword heart, or not use the sword spirit in the future. But the second method is not very feasible. After all, after a martial artist reaches the giant spirit realm, the Yuan spirit will condense the giant spirit's true body. If not using the giant spirit's true body, the martial artist's strength will be greatly reduced. So the best option in front of Shang Mingyu at the moment is to give up the Golden Yang sword skill and cultivate another sword skill, using the sword skill attributes to slowly change the sword chi and sword heart attributes. Seeing Nye Tian's complete posture as a teacher, Shang Mingyu burst into a rage and roared, "What are you, just a piece of trash who doesn't even have a sword heart? You're worthy of teaching me a lesson." Not to mention that Shang Mingyu couldn't accept Nye Tian's words, even the people around him couldn't agree. After all, Nye Tian was only in the sword chi realm, while Shang Mingyu could have come from a sword Dao family and was a character who had a sword heart embedded in him. Nye Tian frowned slightly and said coldly, "I can teach you a lesson. That's smoke from your ancestral grave. Don't know what's good for you. You don't know how to live and die." Shang Mingyu couldn't bear it and shouted angrily. His Quicksilver Sword struck again, stabbing out with a sword chi that stretched several meters away. Nye Tian also stabbed out with his sword. Sword aura filled the air. Once again, the two took several steps back at the same time. Nye Tian didn't want to tangle with Shang Mingyu, who wanted to kill him, but it was impossible. However, if Nye Tian wanted to kill Shang Mingyu, it wouldn't be easy, and he would have to use at least one star soul. Carving an astral soul took Nye Tian a lot of time, and Nye Tian treasured every single one of them. Using an astral soul on a fool like Shang Mingyu would be a waste. Ah! Right at this moment, a miserable cry suddenly rang out behind Nye Tian. Nye Tian jerked back and saw Jean de Bao fall to the ground with a painful face as if he was in great pain. De Bao! Nye Tian sensed an unusually strong force from Jean de Bao's body, stupidly moving, and his face suddenly changed and he quickly stepped to Jean de Bao's side. Ah! Jean DeBeo howled miserably, his facial muscles squeezed together with a hideous expression. What a powerful force! Nye Tien sensed the raging power in Jean DeBeo's body, like a raging savage beast, trying to break free from the restraints of the Yuan spirit. Nye Tien could feel that if he didn't do something at this moment, that power within Jean DeBeo would destroy his Yuan veins and Yuan spirit. Thinking about this, Nye Tien no longer hesitated and his Yuan power surged up to his fingertips, sealing several strands of Yuan power into Jean DeBeo's body, temporarily sealing the major meridians in his body. The face of Jean DeBeo suddenly turned red when his meridians were sealed, as if his mouth and nose were covered and he couldn't breathe. Everyone around was stunned by this sudden scene. Jean DeBeo just now was fine, how suddenly all of a sudden turned into this? When Shang Mingyu saw that Nye Tien's department's attention was focused on Jean DeBeo, the corners of his mouth suddenly raised morosely, and then he no longer hesitated and struck out brazenly. Three-yang wild flow. With a violent roar, Shang Mingyu struck without warning, bound to exterminate Nye Tien with a single sword strike. Teacher, be careful. Seeing this scene, Zhang Yifeng shouted and moved his figure, actually trying to stand up for Nye Tien to block the sword. Even though Zhang Yifeng reacted quickly, he was still a step too late. The Quicksilver Sword was extremely fast and arrived in the blink of an eye. Get the hell out of my way! The 10th elemental vein in Nye Tien's body steeply trembled at that moment, and surging star power surged out. War God 9th kill! Nye Tien fiercely stood up, not dodging. His sword Jie Tian Zhan stabbed out diagonally, and 9-sword Qi attacked Shang Mingyu. Everyone was dumbfounded. Who would have thought that Nye Tien would choose this fighting style of fighting to the death to lose both sides? Boom! Like a horrifying wave in the ocean, the three-yang wild stream struck Nye Tien's chest, instantly causing him to fly backward, and blood gushed like a fountain where his chest was. At the same moment, the 9-sword Qi from the War God 9 killings blasted Shang Mingyu's body, leaving 9 bloody holes in his body. Shang Mingyu was immediately like a sieve, blood spraying wildly. The War God 9-fold kill was not a move of the AO sword skill, but a martial skill of the 9 Extremes War God skill. The 9 Extremes War God skill is even more vicious and domineering than the AO sword skill and does not make sense. Shang Mingyu hurriedly used his sword Qi to seal the blood hole in his body, and although he was able to stop the blood from flowing wildly, he was already so weak that he could barely stand up. Nye Tien received a frontal blow from Shang Mingyu and was badly injured, but he rose to his feet and did not look at Shang Mingyu, but walked over to Jean DeBeo. Jean DeBeo's face was swollen and bloodshot, and blood was already seeping out of the 7 orifices of his face as if he was in a narrow space and under unusually strong oppression. Teacher! Zhang Yifeng took a step across to Nye Tien's side and was surprised to see blood flowing from Nye Tien's chest. I'm fine. Nye Tien was oblivious to the injuries on his body, and his eyes wandered over Jean DeBeo's body. Everyone didn't know what was happening and looked nervously at the already unconscious Jean DeBeo. Oh no! Nye Tien suddenly sensed something and his face changed dramatically. In the next moment, Nye Tien's sword Jie Tian Zong stabbed down in his hand, piercing tiny bloody holes in both of Jean DeBeo's shoulders, both of his femurs, and the palms of his hands and feet. Blood slowly flowed from Jean DeBeo's body, and his face gradually improved. The crowd stepped forward and fixed their eyes on the blood flowing from Jean DeBeo's body, which was tainted black blood. Translated with www.dpel.com/translator, free version, US activities.